JF Stretford, Paddock, Manchester United 4, Everton 0. This is the live review, so do get involved in the comments and the chat and hit that like button. I'm joined by Alex Johnson and by Ronaldo Brown. We're going to get straight into it. Got off to a bit of a flyer, Ronnie. I'll start with you. Great start, mainly thanks to Jordan Pickford, who did us a bit of a favour, and Mason Greenwood said thank you very much and got himself a goal.
Jordan Pickford.
We had the Everton Jordan Pickford today.
We had
the
death taxes, Pickford mistakes.
Yeah, he's a different player.
He's a calamity usually, but you got to say Greenwood's got to be there. He's got to be alive to it, and it's still a finish on a half volley. And sometimes your concentration can wane a little bit when it's an open goal. Sometimes you can think you've scored before you have, and he finished it really well.
Remember Fernando Torres?
Yeah.
That time for Chelsea. Remember?
Yeah.
He went around the head, didn't he? And it was like, I remember like...
That's usually what happens.
I had my hand like that, right? And I heard everyone cheering, and I was like, looked up, and I seen he miss. I missed the actual miss. I just seen the ball like...
Falls over.
Under wherever it was. Like, what is going on here? So yeah, you are right. You can't take anything for granted, and it's good to see Mason. Good to see him get a goal in Alex.
Yeah,
just before the season kicks off, get himself a goal. Just it's a goal for Manchester United. It's always good for.
He might be featuring quite a bit to begin the season as well. I know there's a lot of question marks seeing the fitness, especially the early part around some of our attacking players. So especially next week, Greenwood's in pretty good contention to start. He's had a good season as well.
Didn't go to the Euros, so he's been training well. Had a nice break. It looked like he was starting up top for us today as well, which I personally would rather see him in that role. He was sharp. He looked sharp. He was getting back every time he lost the ball. Like we were criticising Martial for he loses the ball and he looks like he's not. He looks disinterested. Doesn't he? Greenwood, he's losing the ball a few times. And he's coming back in, charging back, winning the ball. He shoved Michael Keane off the ball, didn't he? Before almost got a second. He looked comfortable. He looked fresh, and I think he'll hopefully have a kick start to the season. Personally.
Yeah, Ronnie, Alex has mentioned there Anthony Martial. What did you make of his performance today? Because before the game, we were talking about how I wouldn't say he needed a big game, but a lot of eyes were on him because he's not played for a little while, and people are sort of saying with Marcus out that this could be Martial's time to shine. Bit of a quiet one today. I didn't really see a lot from him. Do you think that's sort of what you'd expect from someone who's not played football for so long?
He looked a little bit leggy, a little bit rusty.
Yeah.
Looked a little bit heavy as well. I thought it's an opportunity for him to kind of remind everyone of how good he can be and just show a little bit more urgency. I thought he just looked a bit languid, which is the usual Anthony Martial of late. Thought the haircut could have made a difference.
Yeah.
But I don't know, he didn't especially now, as I've just mentioned with Greenwood. You've got Jadon, who's only just going to start training next week after a long layoff. You've got Rashford, who's going to get surgery and he'll be out for quite a while. Them attacking options and them attacking positions are quite open for players like Martial to get back into the fray and to be definite starters. So I think United fans were looking at Martial today thinking, can you show us a little bit?
Yeah.
Because it's likely he's going to probably start next week.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe you can just put it down to rust and he might come back strong. But if I'm going off the first 45 minutes, he didn't look too great. But hopefully he finds his feet.
Don't want to be too negative. Just going to get into some of the stats there. You can probably see the graphic on the screen. Look at that. Shots, 16 shots to Everton 6, 7 on target to 2 on target. So even if they scored all their shots on target, would have still won. Possession, we had a lot more possession, 60 to 40. Pass completions, pass percentage, 89% to 82%. Clear chances, it says for us 0, for them 1. Okay. They had a yellow card. We had 6 corners. They had 3. They had 1 offside. Bruno Fernandes' goal is the one that, we talk about the thumbnail in Portuguese, Magnifico. That free kick, I mean... I think was it Maguire's header actually was the next one.
Maguire's the second.
Sorry, start with Maguire. I'm getting my order mixed up. Harry Maguire, we don't see a lot of headed goals from Harry Maguire in Manchester United.
Many as we should.
Yeah, he does get his head on a lot of things. Doesn't score that many, but took his goal well today.
Very well.
Very good header.
Obviously, the set piece coach is working.
Eric Ramsey.
Eric doing his job. Sure, great ball. And you got Digne marking Maguire. I mean, for me, is question marks in itself, but nowhere near him. Maguire looks just like he just shoves him off. Bullet header, top corner. I mean, if he can do that more this season, then just adding more goals to that's set pieces that we scored 2 set pieces today. It's more opportunity for goals because I think we lacked that last year. especially with the corners.
Hugh Maguire going into the season and not scoring.
It's weird, isn't it? Because I think
every
with
time.
Maguire is right. When we got him, people had this misconception that he scores goals with his head because he scored against United for Leicester. You remember the last minute? I think it was the last minute equaliser. He scored for England in the World Cup. So people think, he scores goals with his head. He doesn't. Like his record is like 1 a season or something. Well, not his record, but like his average was 1 or 2 a season.
Thought it was going to come in and be like almost this.
So
I'm going to throw a name out there. This like Jody and Lescott kind of threat.
I would have said Steve Bruce, but if you want to go with Steve,
nah, it's similar.
Because to be fair, you're a bit young for Steve Bruce.
From recent memory, I feel like he was a centre half that would always get like 6 or 7 Prem goals.
Because if you look, I'm just looking here. I've got Maguire's record up. He scored 5 in League One for Sheffield United, which is obviously very good. But then it's all 2s and 1s, and there's a 3. So it's not like it's all right, but it's not.
We thought he'd be a significant attacking threat in
the he's actually we aimed to in the box.
And in a weird sense, he actually has been, but he's just not scored.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing for me. I don't mind if you don't get. It's the fact he has so many headers, so many. He has it seems like he has like 2 or 3 a game, and he rarely ever scores.
I see someone laughing. I remember him being a bit of a goal scorer for centre half.
Especially at Everton, not so much at City, but Everton he did it. I think he had one season where he might have even got double figures.
Yeah.
Bruno Fernandes obviously got the 3rd. Yeah, I'm getting that one right. Magnificent free kick. Great free kick. Keeper can do better. Just a great free kick.
When I saw it flying, I was like, that is an unbelievable free kick.
Yeah,
absolute tech. But then I thought, it's Pickford and goal, so let me see this replay to see where it's gone centrally. It's just gone through his arms because he has got T-Rex arms as well.
But I feel like
it was still like it wasn't that savable. I don't think many keepers are saving.
One thing you pointed out as well. Yeah. The replay, it doesn't really show properly, is like the speed of it as well.
Yeah,
like in
real
got
really
time,
good pace on it.
Yeah, it was a rocket, and then you watch it in slow motion, you go, actually, I could have saved that. No, because that's not real time.
Yeah.
It was a rocket, and hopefully as well. Bruno Fernandes, we've seen him score free kicks in the past. He's obviously got it in his locker. He's not prolific with free kicks. He's decent. His record is decent. He doesn't score a lot of free kicks, but if that's something he can work on and throw in there as well. Then that'd be a massive, massive boost to Manchester United. Give us a like if you're watching the video as well. Hit that like. We've got less than 100 likes. Come on, man. Hit the like button.
Yeah, go on.
The final goal, if we're just talking about the goals and then we'll get into some of the performances in a bit, was Diogo Dalot with a nice little glance in. Almost Chicharito style back header. Always good to see that. I mean, fringe players getting amongst the goals as well. Don't get carried away, but do you think he's giving Ollie anything to think about?
I mean, he looked all right on the right. He was putting a few balls in, a few runs down the right. His passing was all right. I mean, for me, his attacking is probably better than Wan-Bissaka, but his defending is nowhere near that. So his defender's one you want, and for me, for a defender, I'd much rather have Aaron Wan-Bissaka down that right-hand side. So I just don't feel like Ollie fancies him. I don't know. He just doesn't like.
No,
he's never seems to have a look in, has he? Really?
No. I mean, it's weird because Dalot got the penalty in Paris that basically gave Ollie his job.
Yeah.
But he's been out on loan on this at AC Milan. Had a little, when Ollie first came in, he had a few chances with him, but not, he was never a consistent player in the team. And you just do get that impression that Ollie isn't really too fond of him.
The issue with Diogo Dalot is a bit of an in-betweener. So,
go on.
He's not good enough defensively to be a fullback. He's not good enough going forward to be a winger, and he's somewhere caught in between. And
doesn't know
that's pretty much the issue. Like, he's a fullback who looks as if he was a winger that got put as a fullback because he weren't that great going forward. To be obviously a winger at an elite level, but then defensively he's a little bit shaky because it's not natural to him to defend.
Yeah.
So it's like, what's his best position? People say right wing back, but we don't play with that in this system, so it's like, where does he really fit into the United team? Does he fit? Not really. Is he probably good enough? Probably just not quite. Is he? I'm not saying it's like an indictment on him. I'm not saying he's not a decent player, but in terms of in Manchester United Football Club, he's just below the level.
Jolie in the chat says Maguire should be on pens after the shootout pen for England. That was a nil penalty, that wasn't it? Get involved in the comments. Let us know what you think about Diogo Dalot. Do you agree with Alex and Ronnie? Glenn F says, I thought Fred was really good when he came on today. Alex, I'll start with you. Do you agree? You're grimacing at that one.
I don't think he did.
Endorsement.
It's all right.
He was all right, yeah. He didn't do much. As we were saying, his passing, he doesn't feel confident when he passes it, does he?
You
made a good point.
Even when he does something right, it looks a bit clumsy.
Yeah.
Like, he did a pass that went out wide. It was actually a decent pass, but the way he hits it, it was like he mishit it.
I'm just saying, with Fred, I said to you, when he's passing the ball more than 5 yards, he has to lift it, which means that he's got a lack of technique in it. But it is what it is. I think he's more on the defensive side, where tries to be. He's a bit more. He came as this ball-footed midfielder, and then he came into. It seems like he's the wrong side of the ball-footed, where it's like you're just not sure which is his strong one. But what I will say, as he said in the comments, I think today he was decent when he come on. I think he was a little bit better than Pogba was.
Right. Thing with Pogba, right? We know what Pogba can do, right? So there's no drama there. Van der Beek started in a deeper role. Obviously, was very energetic, getting himself about a lot, showing for the ball a lot, getting stuck in a lot. I mean, what did you make of his performance?
I thought Van der Beek, he was a good effort from him in the first half. I wouldn't say get a little bit waxy lyrical about him like some people have. I think people are just really keen to
he's a
throw in positives.
But everyone wants him.
Right? When the team's announced and Van der Beek wasn't in it, for about 3 months, people were losing their minds. Yeah. Like every week. Why isn't Van der Beek?
Because he looks like someone to root for. And
I was like, all right, maybe these people have watched a lot of him at Ajax and are like, this kid's special.
Unlike you.
Yeah, unlike me, I just saw him like 3 games. I think I saw him and he lost one of them. But when I've seen him for United, I haven't seen enough, either in terms of game time or when he's played, to make me convinced, right, this guy's got to start every week. I think this is what he's got to prove himself now. Yes, he needs a chance to prove himself, but when he gets a chance, he's got to take it. And I think, to be fair to him today, I think it was a good performance. So I think, in 45 minutes in your first pre-season game or your pre-season game, that's all right. Do you know what I mean? I think if he starts against Leeds, he's probably got to really show it. Because
I don't know if he does.
If he does, I know it's a lot. If he doesn't, then he's...
My issue with Donny is whenever watching him...
If he starts against Leeds, he's got to do a bit more.
My issue with Donny whenever I watch him, he just looks like it's a little bit of a struggle for him to get about the pitch as much as he'd need to.
But I think that's why he's been working hard over the summer with it as well.
Mandragon7 says, I didn't think Donny pulled up any trees today, but he didn't look out of place for once.
Well, yeah, I think last season he used to go missing a lot and never really did a lot. But now he was getting stuck in. I've never seen him put that many slide tackles in today. Like he was getting about, moving a lot more, showing himself a lot more. I just don't think Ollie trusts him as much as he trusts like Fred or McTominay to start.
I was reading an article. I think it might have been Laurie Whitwell or someone. I can't remember who it was. Forgive me, but I think the idea with when buying Donny van der Beek was he was available. It was an easy transfer to do because like Van der Sar was involved in the club, and it was and it was only 35 million, which isn't. So it wasn't a case of he was a priority for United and United really wanted him. It was a case of this is a transfer we can make. He's a useful player. He's very young. He's going to improve.
Madrid wanted him as well.
Yeah,
didn't they?
Madrid wanted him. So let's make this happen.
They must want him. We'll get him.
And it almost feels a little bit like. Not the same thing as, but almost like the Fred signing, where you've got a manager who doesn't necessarily is mad keen on the player, but is okay with having him. I mean, although you could argue Mourinho didn't even want Fred. And he comes in and he's like almost like a spare part. It's like, well, we've got him, but I don't really want to play him. Do you know what I mean? I feel there's a little element of that with Van der Beek. It's just it doesn't seem like Ollie is that sure about him.
I don't think he fancies him because just on eye test. He's not as dynamic as some of the rest of the players in our team. He's more of a technical player. He's a bit five-a-side-ish.
Yeah.
He's decent in tight areas. He's good on the ball. But in terms of box-to-box and getting about and being physical, and he's not quite got that. And I think that's the type of player profile that Solskjaer likes. And I think Donny's just not really fits into that. You can clearly tell. We used to say this last season. You just clearly tell that Ollie doesn't fancy.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah, he doesn't.
He'd bring him on like 4 minutes to go and stuff, and there'd be a game.
Like the mascot.
He was like probably the only player who didn't even feature in the Europa, did he? I don't think he came off the bench. I think when I know Ollie was making subs to penalties and stuff, but if you've got a final and you've got a player there that is potentially capable of unlocking a midfielder or a defence or whatever, and you're struggling, you turn to him. But I don't know. I think similar to Martial, but for different reasons. This could be a big season for Donny van der Beek to prove himself or not prove himself. I think if he doesn't, then he could end up going. He could end up going in the end of the next season. I don't think he'll get a third season to prove himself. I think this is the make or break one. And I'm not saying, I've given up on him. Of course not. I think it's still a chance there, but he does need to step up a little bit because I remember the Leicester game in particular last season. And again, it wasn't his fault necessarily because everyone had a bad game. But not everyone had something to prove. He did, and he was terrible. Now, admittedly, his teammates weren't great as well, so he's not much trying to single him out. But Ollie won't have watched that game and gone, Van der Beek's in the team. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Double Lord in the super chat says, have a Pepsi on me, Jay. Thanks. We are going to wrap this up pretty short and swift because we are going to do we've got the fan cams coming, so make sure you're checking that out as well. Next season it'll be a little bit different. We're going to have the pre-match show, which is going to be longer. We're going to have the post-match reviews, which is going to be a bit longer as well. But for pre-season, just a little bit of a condensed version. You know where to find these guys. On
one thing
go on then quickly.
We need to give Matic a shout out.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Do you know what?
Because they'll crucify us.
A lot of people in the comments said that. You're right.
But we did say it during. Matic was really good, but we just worried if you can do that week in week out at this age. But
he definitely still got a role in the team though.
Yeah. I mean that's the thing we're all a bit gutted about. That he's 33.
Yeah.
Until he's 34, because if he was 28, we'd be laughing, wouldn't we? Yeah. We'd be the best team in the world.
Yeah, true.
I know.
We decided that.
You know where to find Alex on socials, but tell them if they don't.
John07 on Twitter.
Ronaldo Brown _98.
Did you say 07?
No, just 7.
Oh, I thought you said double. Oh, anyway, Ronaldo Brown _98 on Twitter.
Dan James, just quickly, just before we wrap up. Sorry. Yeah, good game.
Dan James, he was all right. He's on the floor a lot.
Yeah, all right. Dan James.
Meh.
Oh, yeah, that sums up his.
All right, meh. I like that, James. I think he's all right. Make sure you're checking us out. Anyway, we've got the fan cams coming out later on. Then we'll have all the good stuff next week as well. We'll have the news, the podcast. We're looking towards the Leeds game as well. Big game coming up, the Premier League opener against We All Hate Leeds Scum. So make sure you're checking us out. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.